Oh, welcome to Lawless Podcast with Justin and Clayton. I would say as always, but it's been a
As
minute.
occasionally.
Yeah, as occasionally, as here and there. I'm Clayton, my best bud, Justin. Uh, we are struggling to get back at you, but we are here. We're centered. We're centered. We're centered
Bro,
in.
bro, I that's just the universe wanting to brag on me for being off the Zens, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I'm a full 2 weeks off the Nick.
Hmm.
A full 2 weeks off the nicotine.
Yeah. How do you think it's treating you?
um well, so I mean I have I have had some probably uh
Some less than desirable.
some, I've I've had a little more rage than I would like.
Huh.
Okay. I've had a little bit beyond an acceptable amount of rage going
But
on.
if it weren't
Uh,
for the nicotine, you wouldn't have had the withdrawals, right? So it's still
yeah, right.
yeah,
I
you're
mean,
still good.
it's a net positive. I'm getting
Yeah.
yeah because eventually I'm thinking that the rage will go away if I maintain this level of rage. Like if this is just the new me,
Yeah.
then I probably will get back on the nicotine. But yeah, dude. Um, that's the kind of energy we're bringing. Is
Energy. Fuck yeah.
right now I'm on this alpha fuel. They should give me a they should give us some they should give me some fucking free stuff, some free merch for talking about them.
Yeah.
It tastes just like. Did you ever chew Berry Skull?
Yeah, dude. That was
This
that was my early days.
is that your what all flavors did you chew?
Um, so started off, it might have been cherry, but it was
Mm.
definitely
That give you
bear.
heartburn?
Yeah, but that's for pussy stuff.
That's what you started with?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
I remember yakking.
Yeah.
I was on 50 cal watch on I was on deployment on my '04 deployment on the G Dub, and I was on we used to have to do these 4 hour watches. Yeah, these 4 hour 50 cal watches whenever we were going through the Straits of Hormuz or the wherever, the Suez Canal, wherever we're in close proximity to some possible kinetic stuff popping off, we had to be on 50 cal watch. The aircraft carrier had to have 360-degree security on it, and with on these 50 cal mounts. I was on Mount 52, and my mount captain was this dude Ben Sorensen.
Does that mean that you're rotating or you've just got like a 180-degree responsibility or what?
Good question. I didn't clarify. The I had 180 degrees of which to I didn't do anything. I was the loader on this totem pole from which I'm speaking. I wasn't the operator, I wasn't the mount captain, I wasn't even the telephone person. We had each 50 cal uh each 50 cal mount had at least three people there. The mount captain, which would be the one operating, the telephone operator, which would be the one communicating between the mount and like mission control, you can call it. And then there was the loader, the guy whose sole job was to feed ammo into the 50 cal so they can keep on a fighting. And
What? Go ahead.
that was my job. I was the
And
loader.
and so like at what rate are you having to, and what are like how are you feeding it? Are you just hoisting something up and somebody's grabbing it and
Oh no, it's a can. I think it's oh shucks, I can't remember. I used to have this stuff memorized, but it's like 20, 25 pounds a can of 50 cal that you'd have to put into a tray. There's a tray that feeds
I guess
that
50 is it or what type of gun are we talking about? Are we talking about like a rifle?
no well technically yeah. When you say rifle, you just mean something with a rifled bore. What this is it's the M2HB heavy barrel machine gun, invented by John Moses Browning.
Yeah.
But yeah, This was maybe his masterpiece. It's one of his masterpieces,
Arguably.
arguably, debatably, one of his masterpieces. It's a M2 HB heavy barrel machine gun,
So
50
you're
cal.
loading cans.
I'm putting the can up there and I'm opening the can and I'm taking these are linked. The the 50 cal rounds are linked. They have these brass links that are connecting them all. I'm taking it and feeding it into the top of the the machine gun, and the machine gun ideally the bolt is to the rear. It's an open bolt system, so like which means when the bolt is normally to the rear as opposed to a bolt action like on our AR or whatever, the bolt to operate, the bolt is closed. The bolt is forward. That
Hmm.
whenever you pull the trigger, the bolt needs to be forward in order for it to go bang. On a M2 HB, the bolt is from the rear. So like there's a good deal of distance between the bolt face and where it's going. Yeah, when you press the trigger or the butterfly grips in this case, it's well pink, cut pink, cut pink, cut pink. It's heavy duty. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I was on
And
a
you're down there chewing fucking cherry skull, loading that thing.
I was on a 4 hour watch and I was nicking because normally I think I was smoking Turks, not it wasn't Turkish Delight, it was the Camel Wides menthols, the Midnight Blend,
Mm,
I believe.
mm, mm. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
I don't know why Turkish Delight came into my mind, but it wasn't Turkish Delight. It was the wides, the
Well,
menthols.
I think isn't Turkish delight isn't that on the bottom of all of their? I think that's a slogan.
That's why. That's why.
I believe so.
Thank you. Thank you for
It
clarifying. Yeah,
is delightful too. It is.
it, right?
Camels they're so delightful.
Are they still around? I miss them. I might have
Yeah,
to. Okay, good. I
yeah.
might have to. I might
They're
have to go
probably
revisit.
they're probably
Every,
like $9 a pack, but
oh, dude, that's actually cheap compared to the name brands nowadays. At least in my neck of the woods. It.
we're talking about two different things. Camels are name brands.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, but there's name brand and there's tiers to this game.
I honestly took a little bit of offense to that. If I'm not lying, if I'm going to be honest.
Oh, go ahead, speak,
No, well,
King.
no. I was just saying I took some offense to that. That I felt like you were talking
Some
shit on.
umbrage,
I felt like you were talking shit on camels, and I was just saying that no, I ain't down with that.
right?
I'm not here for that.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I mean, uh, I haven't chewed nicotine. I haven't been on nicotine for over coming up on 2 weeks tomorrow.
How would you know?
Um,
You've been out of the game forever now.
do what?
How would you know about the price of smokes? You've been out of the game forever.
Oh,
You've been out of the nicotine.
I still see them. I still lust after them when I go up to the counter to buy my
Give them a
soda.
little side eye just to make sure they're
Just
still there.
just a little look, a little wink, a look back, see see if they're still looking at me, and they are every time. They're
Yeah,
waiting for me. Uh, but I'm still not against. A month ago, a couple months ago, the Lord provided some for me,
right.
and I do believe that He works in mysterious ways, and He may again. Like if I were
It's kind of the
someone,
only ways he works in.
if someone were to mail me some,
Okay.
I would probably smoke them.
Um,
If I were at a campfire, a barbecue, or
right.
some sort of public gathering, private gathering. If
I'm
I'm
picking
somewhere
up.
and somebody offers me a cigarette, I'll probably smoke it.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. All
But what
right.
I can't do, what I absolutely cannot do, is if
Uh-oh.
somebody offers me a fucking dip, uh, I would go back to dipping immediately.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
Well, let me finish my cherry skull
Oh
story.
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, because we still need to talk about all the
No,
flavors that you've had.
I'm hanging on here. I just
Thank
was
you.
letting you
It's a
float for a
good.
little bit.
It's
I was letting you leave. I was letting you leave.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing you've got a good memory because I was ready to start talking about war.
Well, we can definitely go back there. And this is in the story, the same scope. I was on deployment. This was 2004. I don't need to catch all the way back up. But I was nicking. I wanted to smoke, but I couldn't leave. I couldn't go have a smoke because I was on 50 cal watch. Dude, you're mushing your face with your fist. I was on and he wouldn't
I,
leave, so he gave me a can of cherry skull. What were you about to say?
nothing. I just that I was leaning in, listening to your story.
Looked like you were mushing your face, like you were punching. It was almost like a still frame from a UFC shot. Um, but yeah, I he gave me a cherry skull and I yacked my guts up on that.
Mm.
Just luckily we were moving probably about 40 knots into the wind and so I'm just ugh, with the wind coming at me for the rest of that watch. I don't know how long into that watch we were when that happened, but
But let me ask you this: how long did it take you to try it again?
oh, probably I mean, I probably had a second dip on that watch. Oh, like
I don't understand that.
I hadn't left that
It's
physical space before I wanted to ride that roller coaster
let me try
again.
it again. This time will be different. This time
What?
will be better.
You know what? I probably wasn't on my game that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But and I mean, I guess there's some truth to it. You know, first time around, you just don't know what you're in for.
right.
And then you get a little bit of experience, and then before too long, you're
You're on these Alps
I
12s. See,
at
I'm
least at least I was hooked.
was. I like how you're on using the past tense.
I ain't gay no more.
I like women. Women. Very convincing, Terrence. I'm riding these Alps right now.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about those.
This is the Drifter collection. Someone tried to open the door right
I feel
now.
like I feel like Alps might be the camel version of nicotine pouches.
They're
They're just
riding
kind of
out.
they're just kind of cool. Would they be like American Spirit? Would they be?
Maybe closer.
Yeah, they
Uh See, they're rejecting, so maybe no. They're not American Spirit because American Spirit, I feel like, is rejecting, or American Spirit is like no flavor. We're not good
Americans American Spirit listened to NPR on the way to the
for
event.
sure, for sure. They wear those alternative lifestyle gay, or sorry, I was trying not to say gay.
It's like when you're doing the password and you say the word in the password.
Yeah, well, that does
Basketball
make me
game. No,
sad.
I said basketball.
What are those leather sofas? I wanted to say leather sofas, but my mind put in gay instead of saying not leather sofas.
I don't think I'm qualified to answer that one. I've got no idea.
Those leather sandals, not sofas. That's ridiculous. Those leather sandals.
Like, okay, some like mandals or like some
It's a
Birkenstock.
Birkenstocks, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
American Spirits. Listen to
Yeah.
NPR. They
Yeah.
wear Birkenstocks.
Some corduroys.
Definitely corduroys. Skinny fit, or what's like the skinny
Slim.
jean?
Slim.
Slim. Okay.
Slim.
And what kind of hat do they wear? A fedora?
I mean, I'll be honest. I could this sometimes describes me occasionally.
I have
This
a
occasionally
fedora.
do I don't have a fedora. And actually, come to think of it, this was a pretty cool outfit until you added the fedora. And now I'm starting to think that you might have been trying to
There's definitely some
make the fedora.
projection. There's
Yeah.
some projection going on.
Yeah,
But
because that's
my fedora ain't alternative lifestyle. It's straw and it's like more beach vibe.
okay.
So like My
Okay.
fedora would be worn by a parrot wearing some mirrored sunglasses, smoking,
Yeah, your part. Yeah, you're
yeah,
yeah.
smoking a
That
cig.
that guy's always welcome at the function.
For sure. Those are American spirits. Um, Alp is more, like you said, it's the camel because they embrace the flavor, son. They
Hmm.
are Turkish delight.
Yeah, they
They
probably read
are a
some
delight.
books.
Yeah, for sure. They'll read
This,
some books and they drink a little bourbon sometimes.
yeah, yeah. These
Uh,
guys probably this person
yeah.
could have listened to NPR on the way in, but instead they're probably listening to a band that was on NPR last weekend. You
That
know,
yeah.
you know,
And after they go through a couple of tracks from that band, they listen to a podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
They may even host a podcast.
They might. They might.
Okay, so anyway, Cherry Skull, you had that. What else
Cherry
did you have?
Skull berry blend, which
Yeah,
I don't
which
know if
tastes exactly like this.
right. And I noticed because it has purple lettering on there.
Yeah,
Berry, I don't know if it came right out and said like blackberry or whatever, but it definitely they hinted on that vibe pretty heavily, right?
yeah. I mean, it definitely does not taste like any actual berry I've ever eaten.
No, forget about
I'm not sure what berry this is, uh,
it.
but come to think of it, berry is just kind of a chemical leaf. Like it's like a made up flavor, I think. Like because
Well, yeah.
in any type of food thing, it's just like a made up flavor.
You're on to something, especially whenever they add the word ice at the end of it.
Yeah,
I because ice is certainly not a flavor. It's water. It's frozen
yeah,
water. But I got some watermelon kiwi ice on the pouch that I have going on right now.
yeah.
And watermelon kiwi, I mean that's cool. But if you add the ice to the end of it, like, oh, we're up a notch.
Is that that's an on plus?
On. No, son, this is Alp.
Oh, Alp. Yeah, yeah.
This
We discussed that. The
this is the Drifters collection. It's a limited collection that they're bringing back.
see right there, I was doing the same sort of thing where I used to when I last dipped, I was I was doing the on plus, and so
Yeah,
I was trying to interject myself. My
you're projecting a
I
little
was
bit.
projecting my brand onto yours.
Similar but different.
Yeah.
Um,
You ever? You were on. I know you ended on Copenhagen Long Cut Straight
yeah, for sure.
because we were chewing that at the same time
Which
together.
is such a rich flavor.
I love it.
Isn't it's like leather bound books,
Yeah.
old mahogany,
Yeah.
um, you like
Just has
cigars.
inherent value.
Yeah. No,
Yeah. Back.
there could be like a brass compass on the desk. You know what I
Hell yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
An open window. You smell the ocean.
Probably a straight edge razor.
Definitely a straight edge razor around. There would be a 12 gauge double barrel shotgun
Probably
used,
a map.
a
Fucking
map
map.
just around, um,
A
uh,
paper map.
a dead pheasant.
Because that's a guy. The guy that chews Copenhagen Long Cut Straight is
Right.
a guy that just like he gets shit done. He doesn't talk about it. He is about it.
He might spin a yarn and tell about it too, but
But he gets it done
he
at the end of the
definitely
day.
gets it done. He
Yeah,
definitely gets it done.
it's a guy that you want to have on the team.
Mhm.
Cherry Skull,
Cherry Skull.
Cherry Skull, yes. Berry Skull, no. You don't want
Well,
Berry Skull on your team.
well, you want someone who's matured out of Barry Skull. You want someone
That's
who,
exactly what I'm saying. That
yeah,
you listen, you nailed it, and I hope that everybody that the listeners all understand how you nailed this. That you enter with Cherry Skull. That's why Cherry. That's why he's on the team. He's got
it's in the
energy.
name, right?
He's rambunctious. He's ready to learn. He wants to. Let's go.
Right.
Let's do stuff. And then you got Barry. But listen, if you stay at Barry, you're
Uh,
get out.
Yeah.
You are aiming too low. Your standards are inadequate.
I'm
You can't be on this team.
at the risk of offending, or I don't want to offend. So that's why it's a risk of it that I'm trying to avoid. It's like someone who goes to judicial and decides to spend their entire career at judicial.
I
You are the
understand where
one.
I never served in that capacity.
You never served there.
I never did. So I honestly can't say.
I ended my career at the sheriff's office in judicial. And you know what, dude? It was awesome. Like I see why people do it.
I've heard that.
But it is kind of like a Barry skull. Like you got some moving to do. Like obviously you're not a brand new, even though they do put
It's a
brand new rookies in there.
it's a place it's a landing pad.
Yeah.
Just hang out here for a bit. Get your breath.
Let IA do their thing.
Let's hang out for about 6 months.
Yeah. Let internal investigations do run their course. They're gonna be done later on.
And then you take off.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
That's what Barry is. Dude, I spent some years at a primo level of Kodiak. Were you ever on Kodiak now?
Uh well, Kodiak was always one of the ones that would really hurt my gums.
That makes sense.
But I also feel like it was cheaper than.
No, don't confuse it for Grizz. Don't confuse it for Grizzly.
Oh, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm confusing it for Grizzly. Okay, so let me think about Kodiak. Their cans sucked. I hated their cans.
It was gray and green.
Yep, I like that. I didn't. They were plastic, and
Yeah.
so like
Well, it
they
didn't start off that way, but they quickly went that way.
and their wintergreen gave me really bad heartburn. And
That's the only flavor they
I
had.
think they only have wintergreen. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just don't like it. I'm a straight guy,
They had, you know what? It's
obviously.
weird. Yeah, totes, dude. They had wintergreen printed on the label, like it was Kodiak wintergreen. But like I said, there's no other flavors that they had. You could have just saved the ink. Just take wintergreen
Yeah,
off there. Just call it
yeah,
Kodiak because this
yeah. Because
is
the
the
brand
flavor.
was the brand wasn't Kodiak wintergreen.
No,
The
no, the
brand was
brand was
Kodiak.
Kodiak. And it's on a gray and green.
Um,
Gray is kind of a less than desirable color.
yeah, the color scheme sucked because it was like gray and orange and green.
They had, I think they might have had a partnership with Bush, with Bush Beer, and you always
Okay,
get some Hunter Orange whenever Bush
that
enters
makes
the
sense.
equation.
That
Yeah,
makes sense. I'm thinking, did they have mint for a little while?
I never. Oh, you know what?
I
Maybe
think they
they.
did for a little, at
I
least for a
think,
little while.
yeah.
Um, but
You
that
have such the observant eye on the.
listen, I've got a when I say that I've got a very cultured taste for nicotine.
Yeah,
Uh, like I've been chewing since I was 17,
yeah. 13.
and I
Well,
am now 46. So I'm not going to do the math, but you could do the math. I've devoted a good
pretty
deal of my
easy
life
math.
to the fine art of the I've refined my palate, so
Yeah.
to speak, and have consumed quite a bit of nicotine in my life.
You were
Uh,
such a
but
Copenhagen guy.
we need to talk about Mint Skull. Where does Mint Skull fit in the hierarchy of
Oh,
skulls?
dude.
It's Berry is established. If you're still chewing Berry after some
Grow
time,
up. Grow
after
up.
I was honestly going to be like, "Fuck you," but
I'm trying to
I
help you
think
out here.
I think there is some time for growth. If
Yeah.
you're chewing Berry, grow up.
Grow the
Okay,
fuck up. Oh, right.
okay. But where does Mint fall in?
Mint is Mint is a someone who's into Dungeons and Dragons. Again, that's a phase, but you should have let that phase go.
Okay,
You should have gone past that. They're into Dungeons and Dragons. They can tell you an awful lot about RAM on a computer. They can tell you an awful lot about the inner workings of hard drive space and, the difference between the who's its and the how's its of like,
We, we
obviously I'm
do
not a
we
Met guy.
do, clearly, and I just wanted to say to the Mint guys out there that we do need guys to understand how computers work
They're a
beyond.
commo.
Well, you got the who's it and the what's it.
Right. They're a comms guy. Like on a team,
Oh
right?
yeah, okay,
On a
yeah,
team, they're the comms guy. They're the guy who's like, you lost your crypto. They don't say fucking as much as I do.
yeah.
First of all, they say,
That's their first problem.
yeah, you need to add a little
If we're
bit
keeping
more.
track.
First of all, you lost your crypto key. You need to, the commanding officer is going to be very upset. Punch. That's what I say. Beat it, nerd. That's the mint.
Okay.
The cool mint. Now that's a different. The cool mint is the guy who has the dragon decals on their Supra, or no, not even their Supra, on their Honda Civic. They
Okay.
wish it was a Supra. Yeah, they have the dragon decals on their Honda Civic. I feel like you need to say something.
Well, no, I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were about to just start talking about Cool Mint flavor, and I was about to be like, now there comes a point where they just start making bullshit like
Oh,
flavor
okay.
combos. Those don't count. Those are like we.
It's
I'm
like
trying
ice.
to some degree, yes. Um, we're just talking about the legitimate flavors, not the bastard flavors of the
Not
skull
the imaginary flavor.
family.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, so I spent some time with mint. I did grow out of it.
good.
But
It's good that you were there. Like that's
it
like
was an
Barry.
important, yeah,
Yeah,
it was an important time in my life
yeah.
for me to be there. I spent just a short amount of time at Black. Didn't
Ooh.
that wasn't my thing. It wasn't my jam.
Well,
Long cut straight,
yeah.
skull long cut straight is that's where I lived for a long time.
Now, at what point, like, where were you at in your journey? Because, there's never a real destination. We're just trying, the journey is the
It
destination,
is the destination. Yeah,
right?
it is the
Uh,
journey.
where were you at on your journey when you discovered that Skull itself was something to grow out of, and that
Mm.
Copenhagen, your grandpa's brand, your daddy's brand, was actually where you needed to mature to?
Well, it
When did you
was
decide to put away childish things?
um, it was on third shift
Did
as
you
a
just
road.
belch as you were talking?
No,
You're like, "But it's on third shift."
no, uh, third shift road patrol deputy.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't
Definitely.
remember. I don't remember anybody that I saw that chewed it, and I don't remember. I don't know what turned me onto it. Like chances are good that it was on sale one time
Right.
because that's.
Okay.
I mean, I've always been had an eye for the sale, and
Right.
will leave a brand pretty quick if they do me dirty.
Yeah. You're on third shift. Were you doing interdiction quite yet?
No, no, but I started out with my homeboy, your adversary, not
My friend,
adversary,
my best friend.
your friend and mine,
Yeah.
and then
John.
I just had a knack for finding dope,
Yeah.
uh, and so I was doing street interdiction, but
Which is so
nothing on
much
the highway.
fun.
Oh, it was
But
a blast, dude. Especially as a young deputy and back in the day, dude. Back in the day when it was
there weren't as
just
many rules.
there weren't as many restrictions, or
Body
honestly,
cam. There
honestly,
was no body cam back then.
uh, I
There was a dash cam and a microphone pack, and which
yeah,
some
and
mysteriously didn't work. Neither one of those mysteriously.
honestly, I mean, there just wasn't as much scrutiny, which
Yeah.
I joke about how much fun that was. And I don't think we did anything wrong but like I imagine that there's been a lot of wrong things that have that I know of wrong things that have happened without the scrutiny. Um, so yeah, whatever. It was fun back then.
Yes.
Found a
Yeah.
lot of dope doing the Lord's work, and I mean, I think that's probably the ultimate thing. Is
That's the thing is you weren't
like
trying
that.
to violate anyone's civil liberties.
Yeah, and I should clarify that that it wasn't like
Not
it was all stuff.
knowingly. You
It
weren't
was all
knowingly trying to violate.
yeah. It was within the law at the time, and it was for the purposes of like finding fighting crime. We'll say
Yeah,
like
sure.
legitimate, or at least that's what I believed.
So it sounds like you might have graduated to Copenhagen. Your lip, you're being led by your lip a little bit because you graduated to Copenhagen in your flavor, but at least your mind and your heart, you were still living back in Barry days, maybe.
Hold on, run that by me again.
Yeah, it sounds like you might have been a little young, a little rambunctious, a little eager to get the fisticuffs. You might have been living in your Barry days, but your lip was more mature than maybe your head and your heart was. Is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, maybe I would say that I was. I would say that I had the heart of a cherry. I had a
Yeah,
cherry heart and
sure.
a long cut straight soul.
Mm.
I was eager. I was eager, but it was for the right motives. It was for honor and duty and
You
integrity.
think if there was any flaky business going on, you'd call it out? Like if any, if there is any, if there is there any flaky
Listen,
biscuit, flaky
listen.
biscuit
You
business?
have there is an art. Okay, there
Right.
is an art that must be done in uh, when you're doing beautiful things. Right? It's an
What did
art.
they call
You have to
you?
flow. You have to. It's not black and white, and it's
Right.
not. It's not hard edges. It's you got to flow.
Baby
Um,
biscuit. They called you baby biscuit. That's
they
what they. I heard.
whoever they are,
Yeah, yeah. They aren't remembered. That's
they aren't remembered.
that's one thing.
That was one of the places where I learned the important lesson that jealous people will be
Jealous.
unsuccessful. Unsuccessful people will be jealous of successful people
They're always
all
gonna have a
day long.
reason. They're
All
always
day
gonna
long.
have a reason and someone to blame.
Yep. And they will, and I'm not even mad about it, but that's where I learned that jealous people will talk shit. They will discredit. They will do whatever they can do to make it appear to level the playing field,
Yeah,
whether this person gets special treatment, this person gets special tools, this person gets special training, this person, and it's never, and we do the same thing. Like
sure, sure.
somebody, is successful in business and we're like, oh, it's not fair. But do you get up at the same time every morning that they do? Do you focus on the same things? Chances are
No,
good that they're doing work that you're just not willing to do, and that's okay. You won't get the results.
right. At some point, you have to be willing to accept that you're not going to get those results. Like I don't
At some point, you got to quit chewing the fucking berry skull, grow up
grow up into Copenhagen.
into Copenhagen, and take some accountability.
Take some damn accountability, son. But you know what? Unfortunately, they are still around and they've been promoted. They
That's a
have
fact. They
that
are running. They are running the show.
they're kind of running shit now. There are some good guys left. There's definitely some good guys left.
There are.
I'd even say there's some like there's a couple holdouts of the chivalrous, examples even from our yesteryear that are
Yeah.
still holding
Yeah.
it together there.
I had lunch with one the other day.
Yeah. But man, they are still they're running things nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, Copenhagen though, where did you start off on Copenhagen? Because you didn't just
Mm.
you didn't
Uh,
go right into Copenhagen straight, did you?
I did long cut straight. That's partially true. So my first Copenhagen was the snuff, and I hated it.
That's ridiculous.
I
It's
tried so hard to like it. I tried so hard to chew it, and it was just a mess. And it
it's like you're
again,
trying to prove it to someone. Like, who am I
well,
proving this to? Who am I proving this to?
and do you know what happened? That's a good point. You realize at some point that you realize that if you've got the spirit of Copenhagen, which at
Spirit
this
of a
point
warrior.
I believe you do.
Yeah.
If
Spirit of
you
a
have
warrior.
if you have tried multiple cans of Copenhagen snuff,
Yeah.
my friend, you're there. You
Yeah.
have the spirit.
You got it.
You no longer have to struggle. Welcome to long cut straight.
Yeah.
This is, but you really shouldn't. It should be against the rules to just buy long cut straight off the shelf. You should have to prove that you've spent some time, you've earned it,
Let me see
you've
that
got your
lip.
license. That's
Pull
it.
pull that lip down. Let me see. Oh, yep. He's done
Hey,
his time.
Jim, come over here real quick. Doesn't it
Tunnel
look
line in
like?
there. Oh, there's some snuff marks in there.
Yeah,
But
because it's just. I mean, yeah, it's impossible. And listen, if like you don't even have, don't
who are you doing this for?
if you're hearing my voice right now, friend,
Young person,
you don't have to continue to prove yourself. You can quit. You can quit and
young
just start
person,
using long cut straight. You don't have to keep chewing that snuff.
lay these burdens down.
Yes,
Young
this is the
person,
gospel that I've been sent to share.
you don't have to. You've done your time. You don't have to keep on putting
Come
yourself through
on,
this torment.
come on home. Come
Hmm.
on home.
See, you're talking about your lineage right now whenever you do that. Come on home. Mine, in mine, they would have been saying, come on now. Come on. You would have heard a bunch of that in the background. Preach! Preach! Spirit's got them.
Did you have those kinds of messages or I guess altar calls where you would have like be very emotional, but it was very heavy on like come on home, weary sinner, come on home, like that sort of thing, or was yours more like more
Oh
high
no.
speed,
Yeah, there's an organ. There's an organ playing. Actually, there was a keyboard
like a
that was
baseball or
pulling
pulling the
strings.
fucking
No,
fucking.
they're twisting a goose's neck.
We didn't have that. We had pianos. Dual. We did have two pianos, but
Right,
we had
right. You had
But
dueling pianos.
that's all we had was a piano.
We had we had a keyboard. We had the keyboard and we might have had
Hmm.
we had the head honcho keyboardist, and I could name her right now, but we had the head honcho keyboardist, and sometimes we had an accompanying keyboard that may or may not have been her.
The head honcho keyboardist of what
Oh, of just praise.
around.
Well, oh yeah, yeah. She ran the show, so like during praise and worship, there was always the keyboard in praise and worship, which I know you're not accompanied to. You're not
Oh
used to.
yeah, no, this is foreign to me.
Right. We had praise and worship. That's how you'd open the show. You had, there's just too much to get into right now, but you'd open the show with at least 40, 45 minutes, maybe an hour's worth of praise and worship. You're just getting down. You're just getting down in the spirit. Uh, and this is the time you're hearing a lot of, come on, y'all. Dun, 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 dun. And you see a lot of dancing. There's a lot of showboating. There's a lot of elbows moving.
Showing their moves.
Yeah, yeah. Just wiping off your feet. You literally had people with rags dusting off their feet as they're dancing around. But you had the head keyboardist, keyist. What's the proper term I'm looking for? It's not
Uh,
pianist.
it's not
Oh,
because that sounds way too close to penis.
well, yeah.
Uh, key
I don't want to be
on
vulgar.
on the keys.
On the keys.
On the
Okay.
keys is sister
The
Ruby.
yeah, the key tickler. Key tickler and Sister Ruby. Sure, we'll call her that. Sister Ruby. And every once in a while you had and accompany keyboard. But Sister Ruby would be on the keyboard during praise and worship, which I said could be 40, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. But definitely if there was a traveling preacher in, there would be, she wouldn't get off. Like the rest of the band would get off. The guitarist, the bassist, the drummer, they'd all lay down their sticks, lay them down. But she knew where her place was.
Mm-hmm.
She'd stay right there, and whenever he was hitting the high notes, and Jericho, them walls didn't want to fall. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there was a bunch of that. And then at the altar call, so then it was a lot of if you felt the Spirit calling you, if you felt the voice of the Lord during this whole message, I mean, how could I not? You've been talking right
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Um, and you'd hear Sister Ruby tickling them keys the whole time.
Uh, this is a like Jimmy Swaggart.
For sure.
Like I'm imagining a Jimmy Swaggart special where like and so I guess in
You're
that
describing
degree,
every Sunday night. You're describing every Sunday night,
is that
Jimmy
right?
Swaggart. Yeah,
That's how you guys closed it out.
that's how we did business, son.
Okay.
That's how we were preparing for Mondays.
I did. I loved Sunday night church. Sunday night church was so laid back, and if the stars aligned, somebody could come over after church, and like families would hang out.
Yeah.
That was the good stuff.
Kids got a chance to stay up late, kind of
Yep.
unexcused. Like, hey, we know
Yeah.
tomorrow's school, but it's all
Yeah.
right.
You can be up a little late tonight because yeah, the folks are hanging out.
That's right. Dude, I kind of got that same vibe with us, like with our recording time, with our
Yeah.
chill time,
Yeah.
because I got to go to work tomorrow. I get up at 4. I mean, my alarm goes off at 4. I probably get out of bed at like 4:15. But I should be going to bed at 8. But I know, like, hey man, it's time with my homie. You gotta cut one out.
Is
Gotta
that what time you normally get to bed? Is 8?
on a weekday, yeah.
Yeah. Are
On a
you
school
able to
day.
are you able to fall asleep pretty quickly with that?
Well, I am with the assistance of 120 milligram melatonins.
Okay. And you probably get some pretty cool dreams too.
Dude, I get ballin' dreams. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm literally like a knight in King Arthur's court. That's what it's been here lately. I've fought aliens with laser guns.
Hell yeah.
I've definitely have like flown through mountains with Goku on one side and like Superman on the other. Um, this was a childhood dream that during my martial arts days, but it's kind of revisited me lately. Was like seeing Goku and Superman fight, like in front of a Tokyo skyscraper, because of course that's where
All
it's
right.
going.
Well, where else would they fight?
Right. And just like as soon as they start fighting, it's just a dust cloud, and you see like an elbow, and then all of a sudden you'll see a foot, you know. Yeah, those are my dreams, son, on 120 millis melatonin.
Uh,
Squares will
I,
tell you, did not, science nerds will say 5, 10 tops of melatonin.
yeah.
Those are the same people that listen to Dr. Fauci.
Well, let me just clear it up. I'm not asking those people.
Right,
I'm asking you.
right,
There's a reason I'm asking you, and I'm
right,
not asking the nerds that are going to tell me to use 5 milligrams.
right.
What do you grow up?
Grow the fuck up. Put down mint, okay? Put down mint, you nerd.
Smack that berry skull right out of your mouth,
120 milligrams of
dude.
melatonin is
If
what it
I
takes to
if I
put this
could be
grizzly bear down.
if I could be relatively certain, like I wouldn't have to know which dream I was going into, but if I had relative certainty that I could enter a dream like that,
Yeah,
I would just sleep all the time. I would just not wake up.
for sure.
I would
For
just
sure.
if you could like just stuff a like every couple hours, just stuff a new one under my lip, change change out my pan, roll me.
Yeah, dude.
I would exist like that. That sounds fucking awesome.
That might be like the plot line to Matrix. That's how they want us to live in Matrix. But you know what? No, because everyone had boring ass lives in Matrix. Everyone was like working in
My
a cubicle.
Yeah, but the dreams that you're describing sound pretty freaking cool.
Right, right. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I was Neo, son, and I am Neo every night when I take 120 milli. That's where I go. And lately it's been just because I've been engulfed in the world of Arthur and Camelot. Um, that's where I've been going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you reading something about him or listening to or something? Or is that just
Yeah.
like there's a reason he's in your psyche, right?
Yeah, dude, it's kind of a weird everything everything has a weird connection because the last time we spoke, maybe not the very last time, but definitely around the last time we spoke, what we were talking about Troy and about Odysseus and
I'm
his journey home.
I'm so glad, by the way, that you gave me that preview because I went and watched that movie with my son
Right?
over the weekend or sometime recently, and I would have been absolutely. I was still lost, but I would have been more lost if it hadn't been for your preview. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for your
Yeah.
service.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank me for my service. Um, there was there's a weird connection between Odysseus. So here's how my mental space went. Is I spent quite a bit of time on the Trojan Wars and which leads into obviously Odysseus and his journey home, the Odyssey. After that, I was kind of lost mentally, like I didn't have a place to land. And you know where I landed was in the Crusades, in the first to the third, yeah. There was three Crusades. Anyway, in the forming of the Knights Templar and the Knights Hospitaller, which kind of happened alongside them. And I listened to I mean, ungodly amounts of professors lecturing on the formation of the Knights Templar, which, like I said, you have to include the Knights Hospitaller along with them, even though they were kind of like Crips and the Bloods a little bit. Uh, but the lady who was doing most of these lectures, this was on the great courses on Audible, was this lady, Dorsey Armstrong. And took me on a wild ride through the formation and kind of the fall. Yeah, it was absolutely they had a fall and I forget the year exactly, but it was in the 1300s on Friday, October the 13th was when the King of France had them all ambushed. Absolutely. Well, I was going to say I did say absolutely, but either because he suspected them of some unholy deeds, but he also conveniently had all of his debts forgiven because they loaned him a bunch of money. And
And
when
there's no one to collect it.
there's no one to
Who
collect
am I
it,
supposed to pay?
who am I
They're
supposed?
all dead.
And he took control of all of the assets that they did have. Like, well, these guys don't get it.
Again, somebody's got to take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's around.
Sucks that they had to die to do for that to happen.
It was kind of like an early version of civil asset forfeiture in a weird way. That's how the Knights Templars went out. But that's how they went out in mainland continental Europe because they absolutely survived in the Iberian Peninsula. So like Spain and Portugal, they just changed pretty much overnight. They changed from the Knights Templar to Freemasons, and they weren't hiding it. Like they kind of changed it went from a red cross to the compass, and like that's what it was overnight because they had the Pope. The King of France had the Pope kind of strong armed into demonifying or like calling the Knights Templars sinners. Like he anyway, the Pope signed off that they were all bad guys, so
Mm.
he had to disband them. Anyway, I spent a lot of time on the Knights Templar, their rise and fall, which was also I think it was seven in total, or no, nine crusades. There was nine total crusades, and they were there for most of them, except for the fifth one, but that was a different thing. And the crusades brought about two holy relics that are one of them is still important today. The Shroud of Turin, which
Hmm.
some claim is the final resting garb of Jesus. It has his imprint from blood on it. The Knights Templars brought that back, and they also started talking about the Grail, the Holy Grail. Both of those holy relics that were, they were definitely they existed in some sort of physical space. Are both connected to the Knights Templar. They both show up in Arthurian lore and Arthurian literature. So whenever I started getting into King Arthur, it was just a natural, that was
Hmm.
the connection there. And King Arthur's rich. King Arthur's definitely Copenhagen long straight. Long,
Yeah, not cut
long,
straight.
long cut straight. King
Yeah,
Arthur's definitely Copenhagen long cut straight.
yeah. He may, in fact, he may have something to do with its invention. I don't know. Probably.
Well, he
I suspect.
definitely
At least
that
influenced it.
yeah. That the archetype of the quail hunting man, the quail hunting, I mean, everything we described with a knife out, a map and a compass, a
Yeah,
pheasant, leather bound books, all of that definitely owes its heritage to King Arthur and the
yeah.
tales of him. King
Yes, we
Art
thank you.
King Arthur did exist. I know I wasn't so sure on this the last time we spoke. It wasn't recorded the last time we spoke. We have conversations that aren't recorded, believe it or not.
At least as far as we know,
Yeah. There
to
is
our knowledge.
there is an element of time traveling that happens. Oh, and well, I mean, yeah, there's absolutely being recorded. From the NSA ain't putting out these podcasts though. Anyway, I wasn't so sure because I just hadn't done my research. I wasn't as progressed into these lectures, but King Arthur definitely existed in the 500s. A King Arthur type figure definitely existed in the 500s on the island of what came to be known as England. They absolutely had a different name for it back then. But yeah, King Arthur existed. You don't get King Arthur. What's really cool is, I mean, it's all pretty cool if we're being honest. But you don't get King Arthur if it wasn't for the Romans. So the Romans, are you interested in this or not?
I am. Yeah. No, I am. That's a inquisitive look.
Okay. Yeah, so around 100 current era is when the islands, whatever, was when England, like I said, how we came to be known, was invaded by the Romans. And the Romans were there for 400 years. So they tried to get into Scotland and they couldn't conquer the Scotland, or they couldn't conquer the Scots, or the Picts as they called them. They couldn't, they didn't get all the way into Scotland. They couldn't get all the way into Wales. So they had like a western and a northern border. But for England, like what we call England today, it was 100% a Roman territory. And it was that way for 400 years. So for longer than America has existed, England was a colony of Rome. They considered themselves Romans. They spoke
Hmm.
Latin. They had legionnaires as their military and as like their police force, their courts, their religion was all Roman, like going back to Italy. Again, going back to the Trojan Wars and stuff that we were talking about, they had Romanized names for them, but they were worshiping the same gods as definitely as the Greeks. like I said, they're like that for 400 years, and around, oh, it wasn't around, it was exactly in the year 500. What was going on back in Europe was the barbarians invaded Rome. So Rome sent out its call for everyone that was like in North Africa, that was in the Middle East, that was in France, or what Gaul is what they called it, um, and England. They sent word like, "Hey, everyone, pull up stakes, come back home. We need you to fight these barbarians, these Germans that are invading." Well, it was kind of too little, too late because the Germans had, or the Germans, it was them. The barbarians had already broken down the borders and got there. They came home to a Roman ruins, and so how it's connected to Arthur is in England. Like I said, they'd been living. These were Celtic people. They weren't even British because the Brittanies were like French, were French invaders, where the Brittanies come from. Um, the Anglos and the Saxons were Germanic people. So those were other like Viking-like invaders that happened, and it's actually part of King Arthur's story. But King Arthur himself, the historical King Arthur like figure, was 100% Celtic. Talking about like blonde haired, blonde, red haired, um, milk maiden, like green. That is they're Celtic people. King Arthur was a Celtic guy. Um, they were in ruins because all their military was gone, all their order, their courts, everything had all been recalled back to Rome. And so um almost immediately there was infighting. Like the Scots, like I said, they were called the Picts, started to invade, the Welsh started to invade, and then they had like these tribal infighting. And there was some guy who needed to cause normalcy from all this chaos, and that was King Arthur's father, a guy named Uther Pendragon. If any of the listeners are familiar with the literature, Uther Pendragon is like a warlord who was able to unify all the prior Roman but Celtic people and kind of like conquer everyone with a heavy hand. And his son was, like I said, forever they thought it was just a mythological. They didn't think King Arthur really existed.
Hmm.
They thought it was just a creation of mythological or whatever. They thought he was just in the mythological realm. But like I said, they discovered his tomb in northwest England. But yeah, Uther was King Arthur's dad, and he was kidnapped by Merlin. As the story goes, he was kidnapped by Merlin and raised by another knight, and that's kind of how the whole King Arthur story starts off, is with a touch of druidry and infighting and child abduction.
I think stories like that are just fascinating to me. That I guess when I say stories like that, that
Yeah.
type of story is like the ones that have survived thousands of years. You know,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
like there's which we've talked about it before. That's Joseph Campbell. That's what he's talking about.
That's his jam, is he ties it all together. Um, Joseph Campbell didn't invent archetypes, or didn't invent, putting these things, using them, archetypes. Joseph Campbell didn't invent it. That was more Jung's thing. What Joseph Campbell did is dumb it down for the layman. He talked about the archetypes and these, like you said, these stories that cross a bunch of different cultures, because this is a real thing that happened. But there's like crossover stories like this in the Vedas in India. There's stories like this in Greek mythology. There's stories like this in Norse mythology, and definitely in the Levant in the Middle East and North Africa, like in Egyptian mythology. This could have been dozens of different stories. Um, what Jung did is call these things archetypes. And like this is an archetypal type story of like a warlord or someone who brings normalcy from all the chaos, brings, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like a steady
Hmm.
calm from the chaos.
Stability.
Yeah, stability from the chaos. That's what Jung's deal was naming these types of archetypes. What Joseph Campbell did was really relate it to everyone else because Jung was trying to put it all in a psychological lens, and he was literally writing textbooks for psychologists to be working with, like with their patients. And what Joseph Campbell did was he wrote Hero with a Thousand Faces and Occidental mythology and Eastern mythology and all these things
Yeah.
to really expand on it for us.
It's ironic because I wasn't sure if we were going to get there. But it's kind of ironic to me to like did I tell you did I tell you that last Sunday was my last Sunday in church? I think I did. Yeah, we did. We talked about this.
Yeah.
It dawned on me last Sunday that it was my last Sunday in church, and today was my first Sunday as
What do you want to
uh
call yourself? I mean,
I don't
labels aren't
know.
important.
Yeah, I don't even know because so part of man, that's a really tough call. I hadn't considered that.
Your mic ain't working.
Yeah, the mic keeps going back and forth. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you. It just sounds like you're talking in a tin can.
Test test.
That sounds a lot better.
Um,
Mm, dang, as soon as he touched it,
I don't know where I don't know where the fault is. It's in this
it's
core.
in that chord. But I can hear you. You had some. I was picking up your mellow tones.
Um,
There it is. What you're talking about labels? What you'd call
oh
yourself?
yeah, what I would even call myself. Because I believe in the Joseph Campbell sort of way.
Yeah.
Like I know that I sent you this. We talked about this via text that I think the kind of the last straw or the this was a series of events that have gotten me to where I am
Sure.
this morning or to where I was last week.
It's been happening over
Um,
46 years.
there's been a series of events, you might say,
Yeah.
and believe it or not, I'm still progressing. Like
You're
I
on
have,
that journey, son.
I'm still traveling. Um, I was scrolling TikTok the other day and I came across these two guys that were debating theology, and like that used to be
Which,
something
by
that
the
was
way, what a boner killer. Debating theology.
well, I'll tell you, that used to be something that I was really into. Like I
Right.
was really into theology and studying theology and understanding like
You were
different.
into Mint Skull too.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. This is it all. It's all connected. It's all
Yeah,
one.
dude.
Uh, I was listening to this, and the reason it still shows up on my algorithms is because it's still interesting to me, and I hear a lot the logic they're using, whatever. I see myself in it. But anyway, I was going and I was like, this is like debating wizards in Dungeons and Dragons,
For sure.
or like this is like arguing about authors. Like I don't even totally understand how Dungeons and Dragon how that game works because I'm not a nerd, but I I don't totally understand. But it would to me it seems like it would be arguing about like if there was another
Star Wars
if
or
yeah, or if there's another Harry Potter and someone was like, well, J.K. Rowling said it like this. Oh yeah, well,
the
blah blah
canon,
blah said it like
yeah, the
this,
canonicity of these.
and it's
Literally, they use the words canon like they're drawing
so,
from the Bible.
so it just dawned on me, and I was like, how that's what it is. That's all it is. And I I'm not like there's value in Harry Potter, but that's ultimately what it is. So I still believe in like the Joseph Campbell sort of way.
You believe in these archetypes.
In the archetypes that they tell us something, and that there's a reason we have archetypes. Some
Yeah.
like we something in our DNA tells us it's important to know these stories.
We need a mother, we need a father, we need a warrior.
Yeah,
We need
wherever we're coming from or wherever we're going to, there's something built in us that says these handful of stories and archetypes need to be remembered.
Mhm.
And so beyond that, I'm just at a place where I no longer I would call myself culturally a Christian, but not by any means theologically or philosophically.
Well,
Uh,
you've let go of the need you've let go of the need for a bunch of those certain titles. And
yeah,
I
yeah, that's
mean,
fair.
we both were married to. We had to have these like if you weren't in this specific type of
Yeah,
mythology, not even mythology, that would be degrading it. Theology. If you weren't in
yeah.
this specific type of theology, brother, your eternal soul was
Yeah, not only are you wrong, but you're going to pay for being wrong
yeah.
eternally. Yeah, I didn't even mention it. Like for my entire life from infancy until last week has
Yeah.
been devoted even after I stopped believing, because I stopped believing a while back, but I still continued to serve in the kids' church uh, for 46 years.
Yeah.
And so now I've got like Sunday mornings, like, what do I do?
And I
Uh,
told you, and we've been discussing this for years, but I we've discussed this also is that I don't feel the need to abandon church. Like I still call myself a Christian even. But I went to church this Sunday with my family and my kids. It's certainly not out of place of judgment on anyone who doesn't, but I still like find the value in going there because I'm looking at everything through the archetypal lens. Like, yeah, he's telling the story about Jesus and David and Solomon and yada yada yada, but I'm trying to read through that and pick up what the hidden meanings. Like
yeah,
those are the shadows on the wall. I'm trying to figure out what the
yeah,
other meanings are. Which I totally understand about laying down those puppets altogether and just deciding not to go. But where you are at right now is after 46 years of doing this song and dance, even after you've lost the theological marriage to it, you were still serving in the
hmm
kids ministry and you finally put that you laid those burdens down. Um, Atheist is
yeah.
too strong of a word. I feel like
Yeah, no, I would be. I guess I think I'm the opposite. uh, would it be as a deist, where
a deist.
everything is God and God is everything?
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
You're in
they're
good company, Thomas
they're
Jefferson.
yeah, he was smart.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he was a dick. I don't know.
Well,
Um,
I mean, he had some not so great parts of his history also, but whatever. We don't have to
what
talk about those.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. He fell in love with a beautiful woman or two. But you're definitely not an atheist. You'd call yourself a deist.
Well, yeah, I say that. I don't really know the terms. Whenever I know we've had this conversation.
For sure.
Whenever I take tests online, it always comes back that I'm a Christian scientist, and
Scientologist.
I'm
Yeah.
always like, yeah, okay, Christian Scientologist website. Yeah,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
ain't buying it because again, I'm not a fucking nerd. Leave me alone.
They
Uh,
sure think you are.
I've got all the signs of being one. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm whatever the one is that says God is ultimately like there is some sort of life-giving force.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, God and the devil are in our psyche.
Yeah.
And what we call God is our psyche.
Yeah.
What actually is God is that energy that is within me and is within you and is between us and is within
Something greater
everything.
than us, right?
There's a life force that I believe is God, but most of what we call God is our own psyche,
For sure.
same as the
Yeah.
devil.
Yeah.
So
And
whatever that is that is that a where does that service meet?
well, you, like I said, you're in great company. Deist is a word. What's really cool is some theologies kind of have this baked into it, like Hinduism, of course. Of course, Hinduism is so cool. It has this baked into it. It has everything, literally everything that is happening is a dream of God. I was having this conversation with one of my coworkers recently, but we've talked about this on here. Probably on some of our most recent podcasts, is that Hinduism has everything, and everything is a metaphor. And like without using the words archetype and metaphors in it, that's just how a lot of it is come to be is known. I was going to say come to be known, but no, that's how a lot of it is known. Like they definitely have the Sunday school versions also. Like I'm sure there's a lot of dogmatic Hindu people who are like, no, no, there was a Hanuman and there was a Lord
Right.
Krishna and yada yada yada. But at least the way that it's been explained by Joseph Campbell, and he has a perfect way of explaining a lot of these mythologies, is they're more comfortable with everything as a metaphor, and God is in everything, and God is in the red GTO, the driver of the red GTO that's
Yeah.
revving,
Yeah.
and God is in the tobacco cabinet that keeps catching your eye, and God is in all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's already
And
in
and
Hinduism.
and the rage, boy, this is sounds maybe deeper than it is, or it feels maybe deeper than it is. God is
Yes,
the tobacco, and he's the rage that you feel from the lack of tobacco.
for sure.
Like it's the he's all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like literally all of those things, the feelings and the emotions in everything. But he's also like in this conversation that we're having. We're two or more gathered, right? There I am also.
That always bothered me whenever people would use that. Uh, whenever people would use that phrase
Sure.
to indicate that since this is different than you are, but in evangelicalism, it would be used to say, hey man, we've got the power of God here because the Bible says where two or more are gathered, there am I in their midst. So the power of God is here with us right now, blah, blah, blah. And I would always think, but but he's got to be here anyway because he's omnipresent.
Right.
And like,
Which
so it doesn't take a lot of scrutiny to say, well, that's not true then. So why is it never called out? Why is it always just like, yes, the power of God? And now there's three of us. There's 100 of us. Let's fill this place up because we've got the power of God.
yeah.
But God is omnipresent. The power of God was already here,
That's
allegedly.
when you're marrying the metaphors. That's the problem when it comes to staking your identity on the Sunday school versions of these stories instead of the deeper meanings. Instead of like, because then you get lost in the weeds. Then you get lost in like, oh, the Bible says it's abominable for this or that to happen, but we leave out the rest of the chapter, which is conveniently the stuff that we do.
Yeah, always,
Yeah.
always is. And it is convenient.
But that's when you're marrying. That's when you're married to the metaphor instead of the actual meaning. The shadows on the wall. That's when you're married to the
Yeah.
shadows on the wall. And that's
Yeah.
even what Socrates talked about. Like in that story, when the slave escaped and saw first he saw the puppets and the light, and then he saw the people manipulating those puppets, and then he saw nature and came
Yeah.
back. When he came back and tried to tell those people, they thought he was crazy and they tried to kill him.
Yeah. And so I guess where I would be then is I would be at a stage where I would say, those are great like I love the shadow stories. I
Yeah.
love the shadow show. That's awesome. Um, but I'm like, pick one that's true. I don't care. None of them are. Like they're all true in the sense they're telling a story. I want to go outside and see
Yes.
what's like where did they get this information that they're telling these stories? Why are
Yeah.
these
Like
archetypes?
this is a shadow puppet. Is the shadow is actually made from a puppet of a sun and a tree and a traveler or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to go outside and see the actual sun and
Yeah.
see the actual tree and be a traveler.
Yeah. Um, and so it's not that I don't believe the stories are true. I just don't believe they're true. It's just there's just nothing like I'm done with that
Yeah.
for now. But again, I'm still.
But what's wild is like Troy, like for thousands of years, for at least 3,000 years, people thought that Troy didn't actually exist, that the kingdom of Troy was just a part of mythology. But it turns out it was a real place. Like they have found the actual Troy on pretty much exactly where Homer said it was in his Trojan Wars story, is they found the ruins there and they found walls that were knocked down and they
Mm,
found palaces that were knocked down. Like it was a real place. Um, we started talking about this by talking about Arthur. Like Arthur, there was a person in the 600s that was created out of the vacuum of Rome leaving the island of England. Um, that that actually happened. And so these stories were like these archetypes kind of fit in conveniently, and which were they use the church or whatever, the powers used to pass down rules of morality and how things need to be. Um, it's pretty easy in the stage that you and I are in to kind of toss it all out. But what's really cool is when you find out like there was an actual Troy, and it seems like it was devastated by an actual war, and there was a
mhm,
real King Arthur, and there's evidence that there's lots of evidence. Well, I don't say. Oh, I guess I should throttle back on the lots. There's evidence that there was a historical Jesus, and there's evidence that there definitely were disciples that were martyred, for him. This
mhm.
it didn't just come out of nothing. Like what I'm saying is the stage where you're at, you and I are both at, wherever you want to get out of the cave, you're done with the shadows, and you're even done with the puppets and the shadow and the puppet masters, and you want to get out and see the universe for what it really is. Um, I think it's cool, and there's something. It's more than cool. There's something to still learn from the actual lessons that were there, or the actual, not lessons, the actual historical events that really happened. Like there was a historical Jesus. I'm pretty sure what he said and what line up in the first four gospels don't jive, but some of it is.
Probably. Some,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the lessons that we can get out of morality from King Arthur. Like we know most of it has been invented and added on to, but like I mean, it's pretty cool that he united a kingdom that was left in chaos from the vacuum of Rome. And what's cool too is the Saxons did end up invading, and the Normans and the Gauls and the Brittanies. I mean, it's called Britain now, and they speak English, which is Angle. It's not even the Celtic people were conquered from the English. What's funny is like in the stories, King Arthur was a champion of England. And the actual historical Arthur was actually fighting against the English invaders, and he was
Uh,
fighting against the British invaders. But there's all kinds of things to be learned from that, as long as you're looking at it. I think as long as you're looking at it, maybe lurking at it with the lens that these are stories and that there's something to be gained
yes.
from this, not that it's the gospel truth.
Yes. Yeah. And man, I had this conversation. I was having this conversation with a buddy that had stopped by earlier, uh, just a few hours ago. That I just feel like if my exposure to these stories could have been in a sense that they were stories, and if I hadn't staked my entire life on them being not just true in essence, but historically true with infallible correctness.
Right.
That's how true, that's how
Inerrant.
literal, inerrant perfection. That's how accurate these stories were. Yeah, I maybe could hang on, but
Yeah. That's not
that's not where I'm coming from. So I
no. Yeah.
gotta loosen my grip.
Exactly. I think hold on loosely with a loose grip is I think that's where at least that's how I'm looking at it right now. That's why I'm still able to go to church and that's why I still call myself a Christian is because I'm just not holding on to it dogmatically. Like
Yeah,
I just know too much. I just know too much, you
yeah.
know.
I think part of my problem though is that I don't know, like I don't want to. I see the value in it and I see the beauty in it and the potential, but I see so much potential for harm
Devastation,
I have a hard
abuse.
time. I have a hard time supporting the industry, so to speak.
Oh no, I get it.
Um, so that's kind of a weird deal too, and that has a
Yeah.
lot to do with that and the fact that even like doing the kids thing, 3 year olds, there was still like talk about Jesus dying for us, and
Hmm.
like I just from a psychological perspective, I think that I don't like
That
it.
does harm, yeah. And there's only well, Bart Ehrman has a lot of good stuff to say about this, but there's only one gospel, I believe it's John, that even talks about directly that Jesus as a sacrifice, as a blood sacrifice. And the author of Luke actually went out of his way to remove like anything that could be confused with
Yeah,
that.
that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Um, that there yeah, like I said, the author of Luke wanted to take that out of there. But the story where you're talking about this the story of Jesus being a blood sacrifice for our sins like is so damaging. Especially and it's always done to children. I mean, that's where they get it
That's where we
first.
start. Yeah, that's where we started.
Yeah.
Uh, which
I
is
get
it's so bizarre. Like it's so bizarre that that we're okay with that being the method, with that being the norm.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
seems like I don't know. By now we would have been like, yeah, let's hold off on that until that maybe they're out of kindergarten. Let's hold. Let's maybe let them establish who they like.
Yeah.
Get some sort of identity before we tell them that their identity is horrible.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What you're saying is 100% right. But that pendulum can swing so far in the other end though, where you're like, that's when it gets into like gender affirming. I mean, and again, I don't want to offend anyone, but whatever. I'm just speaking the truth of how I see it right now at this particular time with the tools I got. Um, that whenever like I said, I think what you're saying is 100% right, and that is the story of the blood sacrifice, the atonement is what we call it, is very damning or damaging. But if you let them, children, decide their reality on how they want to see it, that's when you get kids deciding that they're unicorns, and you get kids deciding that they're furries. I mean, I'm not a substitute teacher anymore, but I did spend a couple years as a substitute teacher. And in the public school systems, you have kids wearing furry outfits, and the staff has to support it. Like, they cannot say, "Hey, kid, you're not a unicorn." They have to say, "Yep, that's Timmy. That's what he does, and we support Timmy." And that's like an administrative rule, an administrative policy. is
Yeah.
that the people there have to do that. So, yeah, what you're saying is right, but also you have to. I don't know if it's apples for apples here though. It might be different, but you do have to kind of, in a weird, sad way, you have to take away kids' imaginations a little bit. Like, hey, Timmy, you're not a fucking unicorn. You can't just decide what you are, Timmy. Sometimes the world decides for you.
Uh,
But go ahead, speak. If you want to reject that, go ahead.
well,
You want to buck against it?
I don't, but it's a thought that I had. It's a thought that I had the other day, and I haven't. It's not completely thought out. So,
Perfect.
and that's how I like to come off as half cocked.
Yeah, hell
Um,
yeah.
I was trying to think the other day. What makes reality reality? Is it when something is believed, or is it when something is desired? And I think that it ultimately reality is when something is believed, and it's going to be different for each person. But your reality, and immediately, the first thought is, oh yeah, but in actual no, reality can only be perceived by you specifically.
Yeah.
My reality can only be perceived by me specifically. So reality is whatever you believe to be reality until you stop believing it. So if you believe you're a unicorn, your reality is that you are a unicorn until you cease to believe that you're a unicorn. You can believe that you're the king of England until
Sure.
until until you no longer
Perfect
believe.
example. Perfect example because if you believe that you're the king of England, you can go ahead and call yourself the king of England. But the problem comes whenever you live in other people's reality and in the world
Yeah, yeah,
that there is an actual king of England and you
yeah.
ain't it.
And you ain't it. And the point at which most people would stop believing is when you try to walk into the castle, right? And you get
Right.
arrested.
Oh
Most
no,
people would say, I guess I'm not the king of England. Most
right.
people would say they would stop believe, you know what I'm trying to say. Like whatever we believe is reality until we stop believing it.
But
I guess it's
you have I mean it's just for really it's for lack of vocabulary and it's for lack of just the terms that we have. But I was going to say you have reality on reality's terms also, that you're not the king of England. And so like uh yeah.
well, who said I heard this real recently, and I don't. It's been within the past couple of days, and I don't remember if it was an author or a podcast or a podcaster quoted an author, but somebody said reality is when two or more people have the same hallucination and we all agree upon it.
Yeah,
Something to that effect.
that checks out.
Um,
That's the thing is you're gonna have to buck against the reality of the mob
and
and the
so a normal healthy person would take this info, and this happens. Like you, as a 2-year old, you believe all sorts of things about
sure.
yourself that you're invincible,
Which is
and
why it's important to not tell them that the god killed himself or killed his son
because
because
they're so horrible.
right.
But you're going to believe certain things, and like just like that, people are going to tell you things that make you change your belief, and so you no longer believe this way about yourself. You no longer believe you're invincible. And then before long, you no longer believe that those shoes make you faster. And you no longer believe, like, I think that it's
Yeah.
just kind of a normal process, maybe.
C.S. Lewis had a quote that I'm about to butcher, but I believe this was from a correspondence between him and J.R. Tolkien when they were talking about people after the First Great War. But he's essentially he said they've come, men has come to a place where they're allowed to believe in fairy tales again. Like they're allowed to return because they've gone through so much. What he was talking about is they've gone through society has gone through so much great torture from the First Great War
Yeah.
that they were allowed to come almost take this moment of respite to
Yeah.
look back on the tales of King Arthur again. And he was actually encouraging him to write The Lord of the Rings. Like, hey man, it's okay for you to write these fairy tales because people need fairy tales right now. You know, London is in ruins and people's lives are devastated. Like,
Yeah.
you,
I like that.
yeah,
Um, what else? So we're about 8:15. I know that it's been a long time, and I feel like we glossed over the fact that we were on such a long hiatus.
yeah, I
And there's
did.
been so much happened in the world since we've last talked or rapped, so to speak.
Was the late great Lindsey Graham, was he still with us the last time we recorded?
I don't believe that he was,
I
or
don't.
no, I'm saying that wrong. I
Yeah,
believe that he has since passed.
yeah.
Yes.
So something big, epic that's happened is Lindsey Graham, unfortunately, the hero that he was,
God rest his soul.
he left this world doing his second favorite thing, which was advocating for war and American involvement in foreign lands.
How did he die?
Oh, yeah. You want to
What?
talk about that? Uh,
What's the speculation as to how he died?
well, the official story is the
Poison.
that's not the official story. The official story is that he had a a sudden and unknown medical condition which took him suddenly. Like Trump says he
Like
was,
poison.
yeah, kind of like poison or whatever. So the official story is that he had a sudden heart attack and died, and his dad died when he was the exact same age, pretty much under the exact same circumstances. But the water cooler now is saying poison for sure. But let's stretch this out. Who would have poisoned him?
That's where you lose me because I'm out of the game.
So he had just visited a drone manufacturing plant, which mysteriously was obliterated, which was targeted by the Russians, pretty much from his flight from Ukraine back to the United States. By the time he landed, that drone manufacturing plant was gone.
Shit.
Wasn't, yeah.
That was the
Uh,
one site that he visited,
I don't know if that was the wine site, but
or that
he was sent
that.
there to inspect this drone manufacturing plant.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, and so he visited this drone manufacturing plant, had all the niceties from the Ukrainian government, met with Zelensky, said, "Hey boys, how's it going over here? What you got going on?" These are my ladybugs. But he had his pleasantries, and like I said, by the time he landed back in Washington, that manufacturing plant had been targeted and destroyed from the Russians. Tim Dillon floated this on his podcast last week, is that he was actually killed in the Russians
Ah.
actually killed him in this, and everything that's happened since then has been uh, a PR stunt, basically, to just so we don't admit that the Russians killed Lindsey Graham. Because if we
Ah.
admitted that the Russians killed Lindsey Graham, and you can imagine how they did it inadvertently, like they were just targeting a drone manufacturing plant. But it would kind of force us into going into direct conflict with Russia. And so
Yeah.
Trump would want to hide that fact. And he might even say, I was on the phone with him just an hour ago, an hour before he landed. You know, like
Yeah.
he had already landed, and I was on the phone with him an hour before he died. That's what
So
Trump said.
that would be recorded, right?
Yeah, yeah, but there's lots of things that are recorded that don't end up making the stage, as it were. That's one theory is that the Russians killed him in this drone at the attack of the drone manufacturing plant. Another theory is that they poisoned him. So, like, someone got him with a dart or slipped something in his tea. Um, but what do you gain from taking out Lindsey Graham? Like, yeah, he was a big cheerleader, like maybe even had the pom-poms and the skirt. But he was a big cheerleader of all the wars. They say he never met a war he didn't like, him and John McCain. But he wasn't making the decisions. He wasn't Trump. He wasn't even in Trump's inner circle. What do you gain from taking him out?
I don't know, except a maybe a fuck you to the U.S., but I don't,
Yeah.
and if that were the goal,
But
then I could think of any number of.
but would they want to do that? Like a fuck you to the US? Because
I mean, is there any thought that Iran could have had someone take him out?
hmm, maybe Iran could have poisoned him, but what I mean,
Like, is that even a consideration, or is the consideration only that it would have been Russia on accident, or
well, I mean, we're in theory land. We can say whatever we want to now because we're talking about
well, what do the cool kids?
hypotheticals.
What do the cool kids think?
The chatter around the water cooler that I've heard was that he actually got taken out at the drone manufacturing plant.
That makes
That's
sense.
that's what I heard, and that it and that they would want to hide that fact so they wouldn't force us into going into an all-out war with Russia,
Yeah,
which makes me
which I
it
can kind of feel. Like I can feel like I can put myself in the position of being the one who has to explain. I didn't know he was going to be there.
right.
You literally told me to take this site out.
This is a drone
That
manufacturing plant that's causing all of the problems on the front line.
right. You told us to do it. We
Yeah,
didn't know that. Yeah,
yeah.
I can feel myself in that scenario.
Well, yeah, which is why that makes me think that Russia didn't intentionally target him. So I think that takes poisoning off the table too. And I don't think Iran I kind of for the same reason. Like Iran's actually in a really comfortable position because Iran is winning the strategic war in the Straits of Hormuz. They're absolutely controlling the Straits of Hormuz. Um, the Russia, America has pretty much run out of its stockpiles of missiles against them. That's been coming out in the last couple since we've recorded, in the last month and weeks since we've recorded. That's been coming out is that America is dangerously low of our stockpiles of munitions, and like almost to the point where we'd have a hard time defending our actual continent, much less engaging in a foreign endeavor, which is what we're doing. And so Iran is Iran is in a pretty good spot because they're controlling the theater over there. I think if they intentionally target Graham, and they have to know this, that if they intentionally target Graham, then that puts Trump on the foot to say, well, yeah, that puts Trump on the foot to say, well, now we're sending in ground troops. Now we're going to go send in tanks and the SEALs and everybody in there.
Yeah,
And they don't want that because they lose that war. But if they're just controlling the Straits of Hormuz and it's just controlling the assets around there, they're doing a pretty good job at that.
yeah.
We've got a slick there. So I don't think it was as much as I'd like to think it was Iran or the Russians. I think it either the official story is true. He happened to die from a heart attack. And it was this
Sometimes, sometimes that does happen.
sometimes it does happen. His dad died of the exact same thing at the exact same age. His dad was 71 and died of a sudden onset heart attack. No signs or cues from anyone else. So that could make sense. Either the official story is right, or I think he was done in an accident. I think he was in the drone manufacturing plant and he was taken out by an unknowing artillery officer, Russian artillery officer that didn't know he was actually or also killing Lindsey Graham,
Yeah,
which would force America's hand into entering this, and not just through our proxy Ukraine, but actually force troops to engage. And you can see why the Russians wouldn't want that, and you can see why Trump wouldn't want that either. All for the same reasons, because we've drained our munitions to a dangerously low level. over this Iran endeavor. And the American public doesn't have the appetite for war. This isn't 9/11. You know what I mean? This isn't even 2003 with Saddam that they tricked us into that.
We didn't want to be here in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want this. We, the American people, don't give a fuck about Ukraine and Russia, and we want this Iran thing to have never happened
Right.
because gas is $4 a gallon right now, safely $4 a gallon, and it's actually like what 360 or 370 sometimes.
Yeah. I think today was 380 something.
Yeah, but right around $4 a gallon. If you're in California, it's $6 a gallon.
Yeah.
If you're in Denver, it's like I think over $5 to $6 a gallon because of all their crazy liberal bullshit that they're doing with their gas out there.
And if you're buying groceries for more than a couple meals, your grocery cart's over $100.
Dude, I'm embarrassed to tell you what I spent. I spent more than a paycheck at Sam's Club the other day.
Yeah. And I'll bet you're not eating crab legs either.
No, no.
That's just normal, healthy, reasonably healthy food. Because
I,
I'll bet it's also not like the,
I'm not
uh,
getting Doritos and Pringles either.
yeah. But I'm saying it's also not like the, whatever, zero hormone, organically grown,
No.
like just normal food is
Yeah,
expensive.
it's the protein that we get besides chicken is still reasonably priced. I mean, not compared to what it was 5 years ago. But chicken and pork is the most affordable protein that you can buy right now. Beef, I had to buy clearance beef and it was still $20 for like a 8 pack of steaks. And that was on the clearance and they weren't prime cut steaks. It was, you know what I mean, bullshit steaks and they were yellow tagged at Sam's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so like we don't want war. We're
we don't
not
want war.
we're not interested. And a lot of us are no longer like
The Lindsey Grahams of the world they were already a dying species.
yeah. Uh, I was gonna say like there's an aspect where it's like get the economy right before you try to go to war with somebody else. That's part of what we don't want. But then there's also the part where it's just like maybe we're just tired of people dying,
Yeah,
and we're
dude, the
we're tired of
humanity
just
aspect.
yeah, like just taking stuff and
I don't have a
bombing.
problem with these Iranians. Whatever, if they believe in the mullahs and they believe in all this stuff, let them.
Let them.
Let them.
I'm
That
t-
has
I'm
nothing to
I'm
do with me. I don't
I'm
want to kill
tired.
them.
I'm tired of thinking that we have to spread our
Well, they chant death to America. That's what Lindsay would love to say. They chant
oh, I
death to
know.
America.
I
Fucking
can
let them. And they
I
got reasons to. They got reasons
I
to chant that.
I can hear people right now saying that that's their national motto. Okay.
You might have had someone visit in your house that yeah.
I'm just saying let them.
Yeah,
I
fucking
don't
let
give a
them.
shit what they chant.
Yeah.
Just don't, you know.
I'm tired of I'm tired. I'm definitely tired. This is why exactly why Caleb, my oldest son, was going to get a very handsome scion bonus to the army last year when he was graduating high school. And I have friends that are contracting right now that were in Eastern Europe countries. They were in Eastern Europe countries that basically told me like, "Hey, dude, it's about to kick off. Like we're about to go boots on over here." Last year, I had to talk Caleb into not joining the military.
Hmm.
And what he was doing, going to be specifically air defense, those are the units being targeted. Those are the units being targeted right now by the Iranians in Bahrain and Qatar and Jordan. So yeah, we don't want to send our sons and daughters to die for this anymore. We don't believe in it. They didn't do anything to us in the first place.
Yep.
This is someone else's war, and by someone else we all know who it is. But this is theirs. Let them fucking deal with it. Let's
Yep.
stop sending them our money. to do it. So anyway, that's why that's why I don't think Russia or Iran intentionally targeted Lindsay. I think either he died, he happened to suffer the same fate as his father, but mysteriously, like he left Ukraine and the drone factory was still standing. By the time he landed in Washington, D.C., that drone factory was demolished. So either he died of a heart attack, he dodged a
What
bullet just to succumb to another.
what is what's the time alleged time difference?
Hours, hours. Oh, yeah, yeah, it was hours after he landed that he was dead. Because one of the first things, this is what Trump says, is one of the first things he did as he was walking off the plane was call Trump to tell him that how his trip went and how everything was going good. And then hours later, he was dead. He died of the heart attack.
Yeah, but I mean, I know you can fake whatever, but flight logs and
Yeah.
radar and all that kind of stuff should pretty easily put all of these.
Well, I'm sure there was an actual, I mean, so let's say he did die at the drone factory. There still was a return flight. Like the American jet they sent over there was like,
Yeah,
well, we better go fucking home now.
yeah, but I'm saying I'll bet there's a video. I'll bet there's a timestamp on when the place was demolished and a timestamp on when the plane left. And if one, it should be pretty easy to figure out which happened first.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that I mean, and then this is secondhand knowledge
which
from you.
which can all be faked, by the way, for
Sure.
sure.
This is secondhand knowledge I got from other podcasters, but from what Tim Dillon was saying, and he cited his sources, was that by the time his plane landed, that factory was destroyed. So from the time like it wheels up in Ukraine, factory there, wheels down in Washington D.C., no more factory. So
Hmm.
he literally dodged a bullet just to succumb to his
That's
poor
man.
genetics.
That's when you know that when it's your time,
The Lord's gonna take you.
it is it. God's going to cut you down.
Yeah,
When it's your time, it is your time.
yeah, and there was
You think he snuck out the back door,
yeah.
and the angel of death is like,
Come
somebody.
on, buddy. What's up? I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Let me see them ladybugs.
I've
You
been
keep.
hearing about.
But yeah, man, he literally uh he advocated for pretty much the in total destruction of all of Gaza. Like he rejoiced. Like he said every time there's a whatever I don't want to spend too much time on it, but every time there's a Gaza boy killed or a Gaza child killed, he said that's one more for the good guys. Like he loved death and destruction. He never met a war he didn't want. Him and John McCain.
Hmm.
So the world's a better place. Lindsey Graham is looking up at us all. If hell's real, Lindsey's there.
Yeah, I think he's probably back already.
Yeah, that's true. Time to learn his lesson.
Try it again.
Try it again, buddy. Rinse and repeat.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
I'll tell you what we should try again is another. We should try a regeneration, a rebirth of the Lawless podcast. Maybe next week.
Next week, same time, same location. Uh,
I
I'll
would
get
support that.
yeah. This one should be pretty good. I got some heavy chores this week, but I'll get her polished and uploaded as soon as I can. ASAP, if you will.
Sweet.
Hey, let me give you a little bit of praise. I wrote this down. I'm proud of you, and you let me down actually right at the end, but you still did super good. The
Oh,
fidgets,
with the net. I knew
the
it.
the fidgets, you did so good, like 80% of it. And then, but you only had like a couple minutes of doing some little that I heard. But dude,
Yeah.
awesome job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You did
I
real good.
appreciate it. All right. Later, buddy. Love you.
Love you. Bye bye.